All right, welcome to another song title challenge, where the question is, climbers, how should you write this one? Not how could you, how should you, right?
Right.
The low-hanging fruit is most often not the right way to go, the first idea that you have. Sometimes it is, but mostly it's not. You got to dig down a little bit, as Brent says, past the dirt, past the copper, past the gold, past the platinum to get to that diamond
There
record.
you
That
go.
idea that's like, what? The idea that can take the most mundane song title that just is boring as all get out, boring AF on the hook book page, and turn it into something incredible, right?
That's
Like
right.
The Dance. I mean, come on. That's like, wah, wah, and all of a sudden, oh
Right.
my God, that song is everybody's hero.
Yeah.
So, send so climbers send in their song titles, and we bring on an esteemed guest, a songwriter, an artist, and they kind of help us flesh out your idea. So send your song titles into info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. Daredevil Production, info@daredevilproduction.com. I say there's no S because if you know how to type, your ring finger's just going to want to hit that S and you're not even going to be thinking about it. It's a motor skill. So
Yeah.
make sure you double check it, and make sure you put song title challenge or STC in the subject line. That way it gets into the right folder. If you don't, it won't. I won't know about it. I get lots of crap in my email, just like you do.
Hmm.
And I'm not digging through it to opening up every meal to see if maybe somebody might have sent me something and didn't.
Right.
Like, I don't. I don't have time for that. So make sure you do that, because we want to put yours on the air, right? And this is a fun, creative exercise, guys. This is not a co-write in any way, shape, or form. This is the idea behind this is to give climbers a glimpse behind the curtain there on how pro writers think before they even put pen to paper, right? Like, what are
Mhm.
they? How are they working out that angle? What are the different sort of exercises that they go through before you start writing the lyrics to make sure you've got that right angle? And I think if you go
Right.
back and listen to the over 100 episodes, we got over 150 episodes now of
Yes,
this.
this should be episode 153. Crazy.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
153. And did I do that right? Yep, 153. I'm like, oh crap, that sounds like a lot. No, but um, this is, yeah, I mean, you're gonna find like mostly it's like it's kind of at the end where we're just like, there it
Mhm.
is, boom, drop the mic. That's the one. It's just very clear to everybody. That's the way you would go with that
Mhm.
song title. So we use all of what we say, use none of what we say. If this is your idea, God bless. The only thing we demand is a invite to the number one party.
Mhm.
And the other thing is, just as even if you're a solo writer, this is a fantastic way to revive the life in the old tired hooks in your hook book, right? Because as
That is
humans,
right.
if you did it 4 years ago, you rarely are looking back 4 years to find that hook. They feel old, they feel dusty, they feel musty, and they just have this sort of like feeling. And you know what? Just a little bit of attention,
Mhm.
15 minutes of TLC. Brent's going to tell you he did it. He gets cuts, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm. That's right. I've gotten cuts off titles that are years and years old that I went through and did my own song title challenge myself and figured out an angle, brought it into a room, and good stuff happened. So it works for me. So I'm gonna keep on doing it, whether y'all are listening or not. So take
there you
that.
go.
That's right.
So why don't you introduce our guest?
Yes, our guest today, recognized as the 2023 Sirius XM Top of the Country winner and a 2022 CCMA Interactive Artist of the Year. CCMA is Canadian Country Music Awards, y'all. Today's guest continues to make her mark as a rising talent in the Canadian country music industry. This guitar-wielding singer-songwriter was named the 2022 Country Music Alberta Horizon Female Artist of the Year, as well as the first artist to simultaneously secure the iHeartRadio Future Star and Stingray Trending Track features, which catapulted her single Wanted You To hit number 25 on the media-based country charts. The song was the highest charting independent CanCon, and that's Canadian content, single of 2021 and received the Horizon Single of the Year at the Country Music Alberta Awards. All that to say, I'm glad she's letting me write songs with her before she is too big to write with me. So, Hailey Benedict, Welcome to the climb.
Welcome, Hailey.
Hello. Thank you for having me today. I'm so stoked.
Yes.
Thank you for saying yes. That's an impressive. I mean, like, so what you're saying is like if we're gonna drive around together in a car, Brent and I are in the back seat because all your awards got to ride shotgun.
Oh, no way.
There's there's not enough room in the front seat for anything else. Like,
So
I
I will
love
not
that.
lie. I am a believer in Hailey. That's why I do feel blessed to write with her. And y'all, listen to this now and get to know her before everyone else finds out. I mean, they're
Oh,
There you
finding
go.
out. You better
okay.
hurry
Thanks,
up.
Brent.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Appreciate
it's
that.
ramping up, right? It's
It's
ramping up.
ramping up quickly. I'm like, oh, the rocket's taking off. Get on board.
Oh,
All
I
right. Well,
appreciate
Hailey,
that.
the rules come in early and often. Okay.
Yeah.
Just jump right in and be aggressive. Are you guys ready?
All right.
All
Huh?
right. What's the
Um,
title?
all right. So this is from a climber that I'm 1000% positive we have not used any of her titles in the past. Her name is Lori Lotz.
Okay.
Or Lori Lotz, Lotz. I think it would probably be pronounced Lots, but Lori, I'm sorry
Mhm.
if I mispronounced your name. Forgive me. The song title is What I Didn't Know.
Hmm.
Ooh.
What
Okay.
I Didn't Know.
Thank
So
you,
my hot
Laurie.
take on this is what I didn't know. I thought I don't know that I've ever heard that before. So it seems to me to be so um I don't want to use the word cliche because I don't think I've ever heard it before, but
Yeah.
y- it seems to be common, right? Like a common phrase, certainly
Mhm.
Mm.
that people have used, and but I I also think it's broad enough
Mhm.
that there's a million ways we could go on this and really turn it
Yeah.
into something special with a
Yeah,
little bit
it's
of
one of those where
singing.
I'm like, is that on my in my hookbook somewhere? Have I written that? I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember, like, have I
Because
written
it
that?
feels
I'm not
like
sure.
you should have, right? I mean,
Like,
that's what I
yeah,
mean.
if I haven't, why
It's so
haven't I?
familiar, but
Yeah, which, could be good or bad, if you're trying to get it heard, but, no, I think it's a solid title. There's definitely stuff we can mine out of that because any title like that with a "what I didn't know," you're like, "Oh, here comes a list of all these things I didn't know." That could be good or bad.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, I was thinking too, you could also have the opposite of all the things you did know. And maybe
Mhm,
that is like the low hanging fruit, right? Where yeah, all the things you did know, and then there's that last flip at the chorus or something, and what I didn't know.
yeah.
Um,
Like,
yeah,
you
interesting.
know, like, I know all these wonderful things about you, but it didn't work because of what I didn't know. That
Yeah.
you're a loser.
or
Or
okay, or
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 yeah.
to put on the Brent Baxter hat of
Mhm.
positivity, I mean, you wanna talk about not one pedestal, but us putting her up on 2 pedestals, right? It's like, here's all the things that I know that I loved about you, but what I didn't know
Mhm.
was that you were, like, this awesome, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's
Aw.
like these other things that are maybe the first things are, like,
Yeah.
superficial-ish,
Well, it's
and
like
Yeah.
then there's, like, the bigger stuff, like, you know what? Like, what I didn't know is you'd, pull over on a highway and
mhm.
get a stray dog and
Yeah.
help him out, or, go work at the soup kitchen, or, just
Mhm.
crazy deep stuff
Kinda
that
like what I knew
just
is you look good in, you know, that dress or you look good in those
Mhm.
shoes, whatever, out, like, external stuff that you knew could tell as a stranger. What I knew is that you had an amazing laugh, that, you're a great dancer, all this stuff, but what I didn't know was, the more personal, intimate things that you wouldn't know as a stranger until you get into the relationship or whatever. So,
yeah.
that'd be a cool way to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
and
where
you
you
could
want
go
second
I
verse,
mean, it
but
could be real personal in that stuff too,
mhm,
like, talking about her relationship with her mom or with her
mhm,
sister, or,
Mhm.
stuff that only you would know if you got to know her, right?
yeah,
Like, those things that only her significant other is gonna know,
mhm,
right? Like,
Yeah.
how she likes her coffee maybe, and,
yeah,
the things that just aren't, and I guess that's what I meant by superficial was maybe the wrong word, but like a parent, like on the outside that
mhm,
are clear,
yeah,
but
Mhm.
but you didn't know the
so
intimate stuff, yeah. That's cool. I think of the Toby Keith song too. I think this is Toby Keith song. I wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. Like, I
Mm.
didn't,
Yeah.
like she's cheating on him or whatever. It's like, man, I wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then. When you're cheating on me, wish I didn't know that now.
Yeah,
I
like
wonder
what you don't know won't hurt
Yeah.
you.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
that's
that's
already been
another
done
thing,
well.
Hailey.
But
We forgot to tell you. You can put anything, carte blanche, anything before or after the title to
mhm.
twist it
Mm.
up. So how about what they say? What you
Interesting.
don't know won't hurt you. Well, what I didn't know.
Hurt the dickens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
didn't know
Oh,
did
man.
hurt me.
Yeah.
Or
I didn't know. What I didn't know hurt you. Sorry, what I didn't know, they say what you don't know can't hurt you, but what I didn't know
Mm.
hurt you
hurt
or
you.
something. Like Johnny, what we were talking about in a previous episode when your therapist was like, you didn't grow up with sisters, did you? Because you don't know crap about women. So, it's like, I
Okay,
didn't
so
know how this worked.
this is okay. This is a good point. Okay, hold on. This is okay. This could be it. Like this might be is too deep for 3 minutes, but
Yeah.
but you know, one of the things I learned, like that's what I learned in that was like I don't. When you have a sister that's older, or when you have a sister that's within 4 years of you, you see how they deal with
Mhm.
relationships and how they deal with breakups and how they, you're privy to that. And without that, you just don't have any information, right?
Yeah.
And also comes the fact my dad had 3 brothers, right? Not a tool he possessed to help me in that regard, right?
Yeah.
He's got the same. We're both clueless in that regard. So when you're trying to communicate with somebody, right? When you're trying to have that relationship, if you don't understand where they're coming from, like what I don't know can hurt you, even though I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm
Yeah.
trying to be like, because you're serving it up wrong. You're not understanding where they're coming from in that moment. And that could be, I don't know how to make that cool into a lyric, but that
Mhm.
is, yeah, like what I didn't know hurts you. Like
Yeah. It's
that's
kinda like, sorry that what I didn't
doesn't
know
have
hurt
to
you
be
so
the
Yeah.
end
much.
of a relationship either.
Yeah.
It can be like this is the men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing, where
Mhm.
that would be that could be a good man.
That'd be
You
a
have to
thing.
think that one
That's
out, but that could be
cool.
Yeah. What I didn't know. Um,
Mm.
there's an old Colin Ray song that was on like a B-side, just an album cut on one of his early records, that I just love, just called like What They Don't Know. And is what they don't know just might be a blessing. Don't get them second guessing, let them believe without a doubt. Like, these starts off with these kids
Mm.
fishing in a puddle. He's like, there's no fish in there, but I ain't gonna tell them. And
yeah.
then, young
Yeah.
lovers, just believing they can last forever. Hey, what they don't know just might be a blessing. So makes me think about, what I didn't know. Like, I, first thing I think of is like kind of entrepreneurship or whatever, trying to achieve some goal is like, what I don't know is, like when you start out, I don't know how to play a G chord. I didn't know all this stuff, but you know what else I didn't know? How to give up, how to quit, you know,
I
that
love
kind of
Oh,
stuff, like,
that.
which could be
that's
really
good.
cool, which makes me want to do that like second or third person, just that way you're not like, I'm incredibly awesome. You know what else I don't know? Humility. But so I don't want to do that first person, probably. Maybe like what you don't know or what she doesn't know, if it's a relationship context of what she didn't know is like, I could be hard to live with, or what I didn't know
Mm.
maybe was, I also think about like what I didn't know about myself. Because
Yeah.
you get
Mhm.
married, you get into big, serious relationship, you start finding out all kinds of stuff about yourself you didn't know. And, but maybe like what I didn't know was also like, it's worth the struggle. It's worth the working things out and the growing and the personal growth that is sometimes painful. I don't know. I don't know. There's stuff
How
around.
about if you go? How about if
Yeah.
you go deeper with that, and it's like a mental health thing? You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like, well, what if it's about somebody struggling, right?
mhm,
With whatever. Like, you and I have talked about on the pod before, where it's like if you're a victim of something, right? Like
mhm.
it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Yeah,
Like a victim of rape, right? Like
yeah,
it's your responsibility to fix it because it's your heart that was broken, right? It's your
mhm,
it's your soul that's been damaged, and so you're the only one that can fix it. And so maybe that could be like a really deep but a really powerful story of, what I didn't know was it was my responsibility. Like,
Yeah.
I can make this better. I can heal the cracks. I can, you can get past the devastation of something like
Hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I heard the title, it also made me think of like when you're kind of bringing up that other song about growing up in the fish, like kind of your loss of innocence as a
Mm.
kid, and
Oh
just like
yeah.
how beautiful, like when and I don't know totally how you, yeah, but when things, life was almost better when you didn't know all of the
Yeah.
answers, and when the trees were so felt so big, everything just felt like or I think of I was a big Harry Potter fan
Hmm.
growing up, and I genuinely thought I was gonna get a letter from Hogwarts, and I was, like, devastated when I found out, like, all these things that I believed in weren't real, and so coming to terms with that, it was like, "Man, I sometimes I wish it was, like, I liked life better when I didn't know all the
When I didn't
realities
know, and
of
yeah,
all, of life and all the twists and turns, and sometimes it was better being a little bit oblivious to
Oh,
things."
that's
oh, oh,
cool.
oh.
I like that. Yeah, Johnny,
Okay, springboarding off of what Haley just said.
because I got some off
So,
that too.
what about like a relationship song, totally positive,
Hmm.
where when you're in love with somebody, uh, there are things that I know that, like, there's been moments in my life when I've been in love and I'm laughing at myself because I'm like, I have fired somebody before for doing what just happened, but for some reason, when you do it, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't bother me, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
maybe it could be like maybe some of the fun, sort of annoyances that
Hmm.
are in a relationship. Like, I didn't know that you snored. I didn't know that you
Yeah.
Yeah.
leave all the drawers open. I didn't know what I didn't know was that you did this and you did that. But what I do know is that
Yeah.
I love you more now than I did before. You know what
It's
I
like
mean?
what I do know
Mhm.
means more than what I didn't know, or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there you go.
um,
There you
I
go.
love
yeah,
that.
I wrote a song with Brent Anderson. I believe it was with Brent Anderson years ago called it's like Now That I Know You or something, and the whole thing was like, I never knew. Oh, it's called Till I Knew You. It's like I didn't know love the scent of vanilla till you lit those candles, let them burn all night long. I didn't know
Mm.
turquoise was my favorite color till I saw those earrings on you, kind of thing. Shout out
Mm.
to my wife Emily who likes turquoise. Um, so that kind of thing, like I didn't know I love this stuff. There's so much I didn't know about me till I knew you. So there's a way to kind of that kind of
Aw.
idea. And I like Haley's thing about the innocence of like the youth, like back when I didn't know what I didn't know, or I knew everything except for what I didn't know. Like, when you're young, you know
Yeah.
everything, right? And you don't know what you don't know. It's like, I didn't know what I didn't know because I knew everything. I didn't
Yeah.
know there were these holes in my knowledge or experience or whatever. Um, when I didn't know what I didn't know, it was just weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like the known unknowns and the unknown unknowns. Back when the unknowns were
Yeah.
unknown. Could be about a relationship, could be about growing up. Just wanted to go back to some of that innocence. I think it'd be fun. And Johnny, what you said earlier, springboard to me too on the mental health thing. And this is way heavy, and I don't know if it'd be a country thing, could be a pop thing. It could probably fit in a lot of ways. But if it's from the point of view of somebody who's committed suicide, and they're seeing like out of their out of body experience,
Oh,
like going to
wow.
their funeral, seeing
Whoa.
how much they were loved. It's like, I didn't know, like how much it was going to hurt people. I didn't know how much people cared about me. You know,
Oh, that
I
just
wish,
gave me chills, dude.
yeah,
That's it,
Yeah,
like
right? That's
that's
song of the
super
year,
heavy.
yeah.
country. That's country. You
Um,
can do that country. That's
Yeah.
like I drive my truck, man. That's that can be
yeah,
that heavy and be
Mhm.
really, really freaking good.
and and
Because
almost,
it's positive, it's hope, right? That's a hope song that just can change a lot of lives and save
yeah.
lives.
Mhm.
And if there's a thing to like, hey, let people know, I wish, they'd let me know what I didn't know. Like, I wish I'd know, like maybe people are showing them, but they can't receive it. They're just not seeing it. Or maybe,
Yeah,
it'd be a
and maybe
encouragement
that's the
to
last
speak
part. What I
love.
Yeah.
didn't know is how to receive it. Like they were showing me the
Yeah.
whole time.
Oh
What I
yeah.
didn't know was that they were trying to tell me this. What I didn't know was they were trying to
Mhm.
show me this. What I didn't know was
Mhm.
and yeah, like maybe give them the key
Yeah.
to that connection in the song. Like you're looking at this differently.
Yeah,
You're
there'd
looking
be
at
a
it
lot of
wrong.
service
Yeah,
in that. So that's
that's
that's heavy.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but impactful, like
Yeah, like so I think
I
that
know.
could be you'd have to craft the crap out of it to get that story kind of in there. But it could be done.
Mhm.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
That's a
it's
good
really
one.
interesting. I was trying to think of angles too that because I love writing relationship songs. I mean, that's like I feel like majority of the songs, but I think
Yeah.
Brent, even when I've come into sessions with you, I'm like, hey, how are there other ways to spin a title that's maybe not love? Because I also feel like
Mhm.
that's, the first thing you go to. So to have something or you keep pushing those boundaries and come with something that is really powerful like that, I think is cool in any way you can challenge yourself. Or
Mhm.
at least I feel for me, just because love, I feel like is the default to go to. So something like that's
Yeah, for
really,
sure.
really
I got one
powerful.
for you on that note right there. You just made me think of it, Haley. And this is for
Oh,
you. This is for you.
wow.
I don't even know what your brand is. Shut up. No. Um, okay, so how about like a culture change, right? Like
Mhm.
you're a Canadian country artist, but
Mhm.
let's say you come down to the South and you spend some time
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, I knew I like country. I knew I liked the South, but what I didn't know was like, what it's like to go mudding on a Sunday afternoon, what it's like
Mhm.
to, the
Mhm.
things that are just inherently Southern United
Yeah.
States that you could celebrate that from the perspective of an international artist.
Mhm.
You have these connections to country music and that but it's maybe it's a way too to play it against up here we do it this way, but what I didn't know
Mhm.
is down there like this
Mhm.
happens, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it could be like a kind of a comparison, a
It
fun
it could
comparison
be like,
between.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
cool.
know that Starbucks was so much better than Tim Hortons.
No, I will
Oh!
die on that hill.
I'm
I
just
am a
kidding.
Tim's girl through and through. I will be getting Tim's after this podcast.
Yes.
But,
I
it is a bit of a difference though, for sure, like, Alberta is a very I feel like out of any province in Canada, it's probably the most quote unquote "country,"
Mhm.
but it is different being down in the South. I just tried grits for the first time when I was
Mm.
down
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
then, the place I was staying at, like, you could so vividly hear the crickets, like,
Yeah.
singing, and I've never you hear that all the time in country songs, the crickets singing or
Mhm.
whatever, and I was like, "Oh, wait, no, I get it now," because when I was down there, I was like, "Wow, they're so loud," and, I can
Yeah.
see why it's such a huge part of songs because you're going to sleep every night in the summer and
Mhm.
so it's cool getting to go down there and you always think like, "Oh, America isn't really that much different than Canada," but there's a few of those differences and they're fun and I like to get to explore
And
all
there's
that.
different
That's
parts of
cool.
America too. Like I'll give you two examples you just made me think of. Like I remember the Lonely Highway Boys from Jacksonville, Florida were up here and they moved to Nashville. And I remember them getting like freaking excited because they saw like a chipmunk for the first time.
Wow.
They don't have
Oh my
chipmunks in Florida,
god.
and they're like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's a chipmunk!" Like it's like they saw like a saber-toothed tiger or something. I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like,
Yeah.
I grew up
Yeah.
with them everywhere. And then Janelle from Arizona, my fiance, she's from Arizona.
Oh,
Like
amazing.
she freaks with the fireflies this summer. Like
Oh,
she's
yes,
never
that was
seen
another thing.
fireflies.
I've never seen a firefly, and we
Aw.
went in, like, May to, what's that vineyard? It's just past Na I forget what it's called.
Arrington,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, that's
Arrington
that one.
Vineyard, yeah.
Yes, and then
Kix
I
Brooks's
saw
vineyard.
them for the
Yeah.
first time there, and I was so excited, and it's so funny because 'cause I'm sure a lot of people are like, "These are literally just bugs," but I was like, "Oh my it's so fun, they're glowing," and then even as we're driving, like, it looked like these lights behind me. It was, yeah, it's just funny, but I guess people it's the same way when people come up to Canada and they, like, see this amount of snow for the first time, like,
Mhm.
they've
Yeah.
never seen snow. I'm
gravy
like,
on your
"What?"
fries. You're like, what the hell
Oh,
is
yeah, the
this?
poutine. I'm not a big poutine girl, but yeah, that's I know.
What the
Or the
hell is
poutine maple
this? Like,
syrup.
Yeah.
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 What?
Okay. So I grew up in Wisconsin, Haley, and I remember the first time that we saw grits. Like my band, I was an artist back in the day in a hair band, and we were moving from Wisconsin down to Florida, and Nashville just happened to be, it was like halfway, and
Yeah.
we stopped, and we were driving like through the night. We're in Nashville in the morning, and I mean, listen, hair band, we smoked a lot of weed back in the day, you know what I mean? And like we're all baked and we're at a
Yeah.
Shoney's and we're looking at the buffet and everybody just sort of stared like, what's that? And we're like, I, I think that's grits. And we're like, what? Grits. Try it. I'm not gonna try it. You try it. Like,
Amazing in the hairband what you haven't tried, and you're scared about
Yeah.
grit.
yeah. I mean, it was like weird, but not a fan of grits. I don't like it.
Yeah, I gave it like a 6 out of 10. It just was like it tasted like
Yeah.
salty
Right.
oatmeal.
What's fascinating to me is like everybody's like, grits are great with a lot of salt and pepper and butter and brown sugar. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
so's probably shoe leather. I mean, you put that
Yeah.
much crap on it, it'd make anything taste good. Like, what's the
Yeah.
point?
Butter and
Yeah.
salt makes everything taste delicious. I
Oh,
know.
that's true. Oh, it's a song about a person that grew up vegan and they had their first hamburger. No.
Yeah, what I didn't know was like this vegan's BS. Like, what's this is
Meat is good.
Yeah.
their first ribeye, medium rare, and they're like, holy shit.
Man,
How about what about like a CCM thing? You know, like
mhm.
about
Yeah, I'm
somebody
just
getting
trying to
saved. What I didn't know.
what I didn't know. I mean, God knows what I didn't know. You know, I mean, you could do that like God knows what I didn't know. As in, like had no idea what I was getting myself into, but yet He knows, and He had me. So God knows what I
Yeah.
didn't know. So you kind of flip that both ways, like in the positive and the kind of negative way. So that'd be cool. Like, yeah, because somebody knows. God knows, yeah, God knows what I
Yeah.
didn't know. I was totally unprepared for this, but that's cool because that's how he rolls. That's what those people he uses. Like, I'm gonna throw you in over your head, but it's cool. I'm the lifesaver. I'm the life preserver.
Yeah.
Um,
But you
I
got
think it'd be fun.
I read some post of a friend of mine who was kind of freaking out about just life and why things aren't happening at certain times, but that
Mhm.
that God has a plan for them and that everything works out the way it's supposed to. So it's kind of like God know you almost have to put your trust and faith in God that He knows what is best for your life and in the
Yeah.
times where you're like what all the things looking back all the things what I didn't know like He knew the entire time and was guiding me that way
Mhm.
which could be another adding on to your angle of it too so
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely where the angle. Let's see what else. What I didn't know. I mean,
I
the
got
whole
another one.
shooting thing.
I got another
Yeah.
one. Okay, so like, what about um? It could be a coming of age thing, but it could be like it could just be fun. Like, I was thinking about first time I heard like the Van Halen record, right? It changed my life. I was like, oh
mm,
my god, right?
mhm.
And I knew I was in a band since I was like in seventh grade, and I knew that I liked this, and I knew that that's what I wanted. What I didn't know was like that right off the bat, you start playing a guitar and then you get attention. You know what I mean? What I didn't know was like how fun this is going to be to play in front of a crowd and own them.
Yeah.
What I didn't know, you could really do like an artist thing on that just
Mhm.
Mhm.
celebrates the fans
Oh yeah.
and stuff like that. Where you're like, I didn't know how much they'd mean to me, and you could
Yeah.
Yeah,
really sort of,
That's cool.
uh,
Long Live by Taylor Swift. I don't know if you've heard that
uh-uh.
song. It's
I don't
kind
know that
it's
one.
it's a whole song that's like kinda it's dedicated to her fans and it's like the whole it's like "Long live the magic we made." So, yeah, I could totally that'd be cool.
That would be
Yeah.
cool. I think of
Yeah.
that song. I can't remember who wrote it, but "A Showman's Life." That I think George Strait's cut it. I think Gary Allen's cut it. Um, but I just remember the part about Showman's life is a smoky bar and da da da. All this stuff is
Mm.
But nobody told me about this part. Nobody told me about the. They told me all about the wild nights and the whatever and all this, rock and roll stuff, but nobody told me about kind of the loneliness of being on the road or this other stuff or the toll it takes on the marriage or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it was, but nobody told me about this part. So it could kind of be that other side too of like, I knew it felt really good when I hit a G chord and I knew that I got attention when I played, but what I didn't know was, most of rock star life is in a cruiser van out in the middle of nowhere, getting lost and hoping to keep your GPS signal or whatever.
Yeah.
That could be a thing
What I
too.
didn't know is that most good women aren't gonna put up with me being gone for 3 months at a time. You know what I mean? What I didn't know was that yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's definitely personally I could see myself taking that route because I mean I've ever since I was like 6, I just like knew. I was like, I want to be a singer that was just like that's the life that I want. And I've been so determined or maybe just too stubborn to quit.
Mhm.
But it's funny though, as you grow older and then also get more into the industry, there, especially the music industry, there's so many things that I'm like, oh, if I had known that, if I had known this, like
Mhm.
maybe I wouldn't have jumped in as fast as I did. But then also I have to think about the time when I was that, wide-eyed kid that just
Yeah.
didn't know any better. And that was
Mhm.
what was cool about it was that I just wanted to just go for it,
Oh,
So
like what I didn't know got me here.
Oh, yeah. I
yeah.
like that.
And
Yeah.
maybe that's
Cool.
the button up on it. Like you're like, you know what? You go through all of that stuff, like how hard it is, right? To
Mhm.
Mhm.
legitimately be an artist, the rejection, the learning, the getting screwed over, the boom, 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 and then at the end. But you know what? What I didn't know got me here, and at the end, it was worth it because you guys are
Mhm.
here with me. And
And
to
Yeah.
be like that, just bring it home with
Exactly.
the it's all
yeah.
about the audience thing, and they're like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thought too of like, as you know, we're all professionals here and having to sometimes reclaim the innocence and just the
Mm.
purity of like, dang, I just love writing songs. And
Yep.
to
Yeah.
not, to unlearn some of the things you've learned to get back to the kind of the pure innocence of just I love creating or I love playing and singing for people and trying to get like the kind of the business stuff and like, okay, so I need to write, it needs to be up tempo and it needs to be positive, it needs to be in the moment, it needs to be all these, I need to do the checklist or just like
Mhm.
write the song that you feel. Like there's things
Yeah.
of that of going kind of unlearning, like trying to get back to what I didn't know, like trying to remember what I didn't know, or I don't know how you
Get
wordsmith it, but that kind of
back
like
to
that,
what
Mm.
I didn't
yeah.
know. There's
Yeah.
another one.
Uh,
That's
Oh,
good, man. That's
mm,
good. I
I
think,
love
when you were
that.
talking about that, I went out of the music industry. I just think about watching like Brett Favre play football.
uh, yeah,
You know what I mean? Because he never ever lost that
childlike,
fascination and
like,
the fun. Like,
Mhm.
mm,
we're just gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna pull this out of my ass and make a touchdown. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't calculated. It was just like all intuition, just fun, and you could just see that it was just such a pleasure to watch
yeah,
because
Mhm.
it really was. Um, I mean, he was as professional as you could get, but it felt unprofessional. It felt naive. It felt you
mhm,
never knew what was going to happen. It was fun. It was interesting. Yeah, that's it.
yeah,
That's cool.
good
Man,
stuff.
we got some good looks at it. You guys, it's like we're already 33 minutes in on this thing.
Dang.
I feel like we could go for another 2 hours
I
because it's like
know.
so broad.
Yeah,
That's
it's such an open-ended title that you could just dig into it for weeks.
Yeah. Well, that's what's
So
so great about, like, this exercise, and, glad that you guys introduced me to this too, because this is something that I'm definitely gonna take away because, yeah, I just think it's even just to I feel like to get your brain, whether you end up writing that song or not,
Mhm,
to get your brain into that space of looking at things from all the different angles and kinda taking yourself out of it a little bit,
mhm.
and how you can serve that song the best is I think it's a really great exercise. So this is cool. It's already got me thinking, so
That's the thing, it's
I
a
love
great
that. You have to
warm-up to
report back.
co-writes and stuff, so
Report back, and let us
I
know.
will. Yeah.
Hailey,
So,
where can people find you, your music, what you got going on, all that good stuff? Where do we stalk you? Online
Yeah,
only.
everything's, on my website, www.haileybenedictmusic.com, or you can find me on socials.
spell Haley, please.
Hailey. And then Benedict is just like the eggs. So
Mhm.
should be pretty easy. But yeah, and then my socials are all at That's Me Hailey B. Or if you're on TikTok, it's Hailey B114 because That's Me Hailey B was taken by myself and I couldn't remember the password. So well, yeah.
Damn. I love it. Well, thank you so much for saying yes, Hailey. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Oh man.
And I can't wait to hear your stuff, man. I'm
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it. You guys, you can have an artist like Hailey help flesh out your idea. Send your song titles into info@daredevilproduction.com. Put Song Title Challenge or STC in the subject line and have your song on the Song Title Challenge. We got lots of more incredible artists, more incredible writers coming up in the future. So I just think that's cool, man, to be able to hear that
Yeah.
and to hear a bunch of people kind of dig into your idea. So this podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.